Right now, breaking news on News Channel 8.
Good evening, I'm Keith Kate.
And I'm Stacy Scheibel. Thanks for joining us. We have 3 breaking news stories developing right now. We're going to start first with Tampa police planning to make an announcement sometime within the next half hour on October's deadly mass shooting in Ybor City. According to TPD, there will be a press conference with State Attorney Susie Lopez, Chief Lee Burkhaw, and the family of Harrison Boonstoppel. He was one of the 2 victims killed in the Ybor shooting. We don't know yet what that announcement will be, only that it's related to the shooting investigation. The news conference, slated to start around 6:30. We'll, of course, have more on this coming up tonight on News Channel 8 at 7.
And there was also breaking news out of Las Vegas tonight where police say the threat from an active shooter on the UNLV campus has ended. The shooter is dead. There are at least 3 other victims, though. We don't know if any were killed. Evacuations are underway in all of the university's buildings. NBC Nightly News will have more on that coming up in 30 minutes.
Also breaking tonight, Bridget Ziegler has resigned from her position as the director at the Leadership Institute, a conservative nonprofit.
Yeah, her husband, Christian Ziegler, is the Florida GOP chairman. He's currently under investigation over allegations of sexual battery. Several prominent Republican Party members, including Governor Ron DeSantis, have called for Christian Ziegler to resign as the chair of the Republican Party of Florida.
And we have a very chilly night ahead.
It's already started. It's chilly out there right now. Yeah, I don't know if we're going to break any records, but our chief meteorologist, Jeff Baradelli, here now to tell us more about it. Jeff.
Yeah, we're not going to break any records, but it is going to be legitimately cold out there, and the temperature is going to fall very fast. Now that the sun has set, the mild air is being pushed out, the cooler air is moving through quickly, and it will be downright cold when you wake up tomorrow morning, especially across the Nature Coast. Now, to the south of Tampa, it's still relatively mild, but it's getting cool fast. This is Lakewood Ranch. We're in the Christmas mood, the season. Certainly, 59 degrees at the current temperature right now, but we're going to be dropping pretty quickly overnight tonight. In fact, as you head on the Nature Coast, 55 right now in San Antonio, it's 54 in Beverly Hills, and in just about 2 hours, we'll probably be in the upper 40s on the Nature Coast. If you headed out to the Lightning game, when you walk in, it'll be reasonable, but when you walk out, unreasonable, with temperatures falling into the low 50s, and then after midnight, we're going to drop into the upper 40s, and by morning, we're talking low temperatures about 15 degrees below normal for this time of year. In Tampa, we're forecasting 44. The normal low is 58 degrees, but on the Nature Coast, Wesley Chapel, Brooksville, Crystal River, 35 to 37 degrees. We have another strong cold front that's going to be headed towards the Bay Area this weekend. That means the threat of strong storms. I'll have the timing coming up.
Thanks, Jeff. Tonight, a Polk County community is mourning the death of a teenager who was hit by a school bus yesterday morning. Jackson Crabtree was just 15 years old. His death left many wondering why more has not been done to make a dangerous stretch of road safer.
Specifically, when will a much-anticipated traffic light be installed? Our Polk County Bureau reporter Stacy DeSilva is joining us live from Lakeland with what she's learned about this. Stacy.
Keith and Stacy, people who live in the 1100 home development Riverstone say it is hard to tell where they're going in this temporary intersection setup, especially when it's dark like it is now. They tell us it was only a matter of time before tragedy struck.
I feel that whatever they've done currently is making it less safe than it was before. Alex
is a father of 2 young boys and lives in the Riverstone subdivision, located at the intersection of Medela and Pipkin Roads.
What they currently have over there, a bunch of posts, reflective material at night. When I'm in my car, I can't even see oncoming traffic to make a left turn into my own neighborhood.
He says he was not shocked to learn 15-year-old Jackson Crabtree died after a crash in that intersection Tuesday on his way to school. Saddened, but not shocked.
Having temporary lights there or something would be much better than the current situation.
8 on Your Side asked Polk County's Roads and Drainage Director Jay Jarvis about why a temporary traffic signal was not installed at the intersection. It's something many residents have wanted.
Unfortunately, a temporary signal is something that when you have controls and those types of things, you still run into the same issue as far as getting the equipment.
The issue Jarvis and others point to involves the supply chain. There is evidence that a permanent traffic signal is coming, but not completed. The Riverstone developer Atlantic Property Company agreed to install one in a deal with the city of Lakeland in 2018. It was signed by manager J.D. Alexander.
We ordered, signed the contract with the company that specializes in putting in those kind of things, you know, and I think it was March the 9th of last year, and it's taken a long time to get the equipment in.
So after those delays, Alexander says he believes the traffic light will be installed by March. Keith?
Well, we can only hope so, but given what happened at that intersection, is anything going to be done between now and then? Because, I mean, just looking behind you, I mean, that clearly can be confusing.
Yeah, it's a bit of a maze back there, like I said, especially in the dark. Jarvis with the county said they are looking at some interim safety improvements that can be made until the traffic light is installed. And Lakeland police say they will be directing more patrols here when they're available, but I will say we had a morning crew here all morning this morning, and they did not see a police presence then. Keith.
All right, I know you'll stay on it. Thank you. Stacy DeSilva reporting live in Lakeland.
A woman is thanking a stranger for coming to her rescue when someone attacked her outside of a public supermarket. It happened at the store on Boyette Road in Riverview. Annie Mapp talked to the victim and her hero.
65-year-old Billy Richard had just finished volunteering ringing the holiday bells for the Salvation Army when she believes a suspect saw her as prey.
I seen him sitting on the curb, and something in the back of my mind said something was wrong.
As Richard walked to her car, the Hillsborough County Sheriff's Office says 42-year-old suspect Robert Moore attacked her in an attempt to steal the victim's keys.
I said, I have, get off of me, leave me alone, go away. I said, I have pepper spray and I'm going to spray you. And I went like that to spray him. He jerked the keys out of my hand. I went down on the concrete and I just screamed help.
Thankfully, those cries for help were heard across the Publix parking lot by a good Samaritan who wasn't going to let the suspect take off.
Just kicked off my flip-flops and ran at him full speed and, got a hold of him and, ended that attack.
That good Samaritan asked not to be identified, but tells me he didn't think twice before running over to help. And although he faced minor injuries while stopping the attack and holding the suspect down, he'd do it all over again.
Men in our society have a duty to stand up and put an end to that kind of nonsense.
Billy tells me that attack has already made her more aware of her surroundings. As for the suspect, Robert Moore, he was taken to jail and was charged with battery and robbery by snatching. Reporting in Hillsborough County, Annie Mapp, 8 on your side.
The man accused of trying to kill 3 Hillsborough County Sheriff's deputies has been ruled mentally incompetent to proceed with his trial. Just yesterday, Corporal Carlos Brito was released from the hospital. He was the deputy most seriously injured when he was hit by a car driven by Ralph Boozy. Today, a judge ruled that Boozy is not mentally competent. A forensic psychologist who is not involved with the case says that Boozy will likely be treated with medication to improve his mental status.
So they're typically committed to a secure forensic hospital to receive treatment focused on those symptoms, with the rationale being that if we control and manage those symptoms, their abilities to participate and understand will return.
Today, a Hillsborough County judge ordered Boozy to be taken to a state mental health hospital, a secure site for treatment.
A Senate panel is raising concerns that Citizens, Florida's property insurer of last resort, could need a federal bailout. But today, the Citizens CEO slammed that claim and provided new insight on the health of the company. 8 on your side investigator Masa Saidi tells us what happened at the Board of Governors meeting.
Well, the head of Citizens says the company has never asked for a federal bailout, and the CEO is concerned the Senate investigation is causing unwarranted panic. Last week, U.S. Senator Sheldon Whitehouse launched an investigation into Citizens. The Democrat from Rhode Island told me Citizens has small reserves and a large number of policies, a combo that potentially puts taxpayers on the hook for bailing out the state-backed insurer. By law, if Citizens runs out of money, they're allowed to levy an assessment or a special surcharge on all Floridians.
If the assessment is so big that it's uncollectible, then that pushes this problem beyond Florida.
Now the head of Citizens pushing back. At a meeting of the Board of Governors Wednesday, CEO Tim Serio said the company is in a strong financial position.
I've never heard of anyone suggesting the idea of a federal bailout until the Senate Budget Committee's letter was published. It is a hypothetical, which I think demonstrates, again, a misunderstanding of our structure. Citizens always has the ability to pay claims.
Serial says the news is all positive. First, this year, 6 new property insurance companies entered Florida. Part of the reason, across the board, litigation is down. Specifically for Citizens, 20% fewer cases are going to court this year as compared to last year. The company is also reducing its exposure, getting smaller, so-called depopulating. This year, more than 220,000 Citizens customers have been transferred to the private market. Here's the spokesman of Citizens, Michael Peltier.
The depopulation program is most popular in the winter months, December, January, February. Over the next two or 3 months, we'll see some interest, and then it will probably die off until next fall. If they get a message from Citizens, open your letter.
And that's the major takeaway for customers of Citizens Property Insurance. Right now, private insurance companies are taking a look at Citizens' portfolio. They're picking out who they want in the next 3 months, 3 more rounds of depopulation. So be sure to be on the lookout for a potential notice in the mail. That's the very latest in the Tampa newsroom. I'm investigator Masa Saidi, 8 on your side.
Hanukkah begins at sundown tomorrow.
But this year, celebrating may be more difficult for Jewish people around the world. Still ahead, we talk to a Bay Area rabbi for his advice on observing the Festival of Lights during the darkness of war.
Plus, coming up in sports, Bucs quarterback Baker Mayfield tells us what he hopes to change in this week's rematch against the Atlanta Falcons.
And don't forget, Kindness Day is this Friday. It's a drive-through event right here at the News Channel 8 studios. You can easily just drive through, donate food, toys, school supplies, teddy bears. You could even give the gift of life at our blood drive Friday from 6 a.m. to 5 p.m. We're at 200 South Parker Street, just south of the Kennedy Bridge in Tampa.
You're watching News Channel 8 at 6, Tampa Bay's most watched 6 p.m. newscast. You're watching News Channel 8 at 6 with Stacy Scheibel, Keith Gate, Dan Lucas Sports, and Chief Meteorologist Jeff Faradelli.
Israel is focusing its attacks on Khan Yunis, Gaza's second largest city. Leaflets dropped over the city quoted the Quran, saying the flood overtook them as they were wrongdoers. Some believe that's a warning that Israel may force militants out of a network of underground tunnels by flooding them with seawater. Israel's effort to root out Hamas comes just as Jews around the world prepare to celebrate Hanukkah.
That holiday's message is light in darkness, something that may feel especially relevant to Jews amid war and anti-Semitism.
The rabbi echoed that message of light in the darkness. He said he will pray for the events overseas, but focus on staying positive here at home.
Hanukkah, it's a phenomenal holiday. It's the holiday where the main message is light.
Rabbi Mendy Bucket, his family, and his community have been celebrating Hanukkah at the Chabad of Bradenton and Lakewood Ranch for 2 decades.
It was always a celebration of the concept of we need to bring light into the world. We have to bring some more, warmth into the world.
The rabbi said that message is more important now than ever.
We don't have to be afraid. We live in the greatest country in the world, that we have the freedoms to celebrate as Jews.
He said he's still planning on having a massive Hanukkah celebration at the main street at Lakewood Ranch in Bradenton tomorrow. There will be police and security there. He understands concerns about safety. He hopes people will show up in solidarity.
There's always that worry, because you always have people that want to create chaos. But we get to choose what we want to focus on.
Again, the Chabad here plans on having a large Hanukkah celebration tomorrow, coinciding with praying for Israel as well. Again, that holiday goes until next Friday. In Bradenton, Trevor Sahaki, 8 on your side.
Thank you, Trevor. Dozens of cold-stunned turtles have left the frigid waters of New England behind and are now receiving some rehab in sunny Florida. Look at them all there. The Clearwater Marine Aquarium taking in 16 Kemp's Ridley sea turtles out of a total of 52 that arrived on a private jet today in Tampa. Now, 3 other Florida rehab facilities will take care of the rest. The turtles are among hundreds rescued recently along the New England Atlantic coast. Guests at the Clearwater Marine Aquarium, meaning you, will get to see these turtles as they recuperate. So check them out. when you go by there.
So turtles are getting to fly private jets?
First class.
I can't.
Yeah.
I mean, man, well, they deserve it.
Yeah.
Well, everybody loves a turtle.
And they love the peanuts, you know, and
all the good stuff that comes along with that.
Yes.
That private flight.
They may snack. Who knows what they're doing over there?
So, Jeff, it's freezing, and the breeze makes it worse.
It does, it does. I'm sorry about that. I apologize profusely to you and all of our viewers for the cold air, but some of us actually like it. Rebecca not being one of them. Rebecca hates the cold air. Lucky for her, it's going to be warming up over the next couple of days, but not for long. So let's look at the jet stream. So the jet stream's taken a dive, but look, we're on the edge of it right now. The colder air is going to be pushing out, and the warmer air moves in. So Saturday is actually a pretty warm day. High temperatures, low 80s, but then another big dip in the jet stream on Monday, so another cold shot moves our way. And in between that clash between warm and cold, strong cold front's going to push through on Sunday with some showers and storms. Back to that in a couple of seconds. So in Tampa right now, it is dark, but we had a very nice sunset. You can send me sunset photos, weather at WFLA.com. Temperatures down to 58, and those temperatures are going to fall fast. This is faster than they would typically fall, so that by midnight we're dropping into the upper 40s, and by morning we're in the low to mid 40s, but some places, especially on the Nature Coast, Hernando County, Citrus County, you'll be in the mid 30s, 36 in Brooksville, 37 for you in Crystal River. To Pinellas County, a little warmer in places like Largo and St. Pete, low 50s there. You cross over the bridges, and we're down to 46 in Tampa and 43 for you in Brandon. Further south we go, the more inland you are, the cooler it gets. 41 Mayaca City, but Lombo Key holding on to around 48 degrees. Looking at about 42 on average across most of Polk County. Polk City down to Fort Meade and Frostproof. And about 43 in Wauchula and also in Sebring when you wake up tomorrow morning. So today we're in the mid 60s. Tomorrow we're going to spend the majority of the day in the 60s again, but it's going to be milder, briefly at least. We'll probably pop over the 70-degree mark for about an hour or so. So a chilly start tomorrow, but a milder day. And then the warm-up begins, especially as we head into Friday and Saturday. Saturday, we'll probably see a break, a decent amount of sunshine, so 82 degrees or so. Then the cold front swings in, and it's a very strong one, supported by a lot of strong low-level winds, jet stream winds. And so we could see some severe thunderstorms. It's going to be a formidable front and squall line across the Gulf. Could even cause some localized coastal flooding as it moves in. But the front is going to weaken because we just don't have that much moisture out here. So we could see a leftover strong or severe thunderstorm, but I don't think it's going to be a widespread severe outbreak. But the weather's really going to change on a dime, breezy and chilly again as we head into Monday. All right, so let's take a look at the energy for thunderstorms and notice how most of it stays well to the south of us. So we have marginal energy, but looking at the winds, and there's going to be a lot of wind along the eastern seaboard. We're going to be right on the southern edge. So again, we could see a couple of damaging wind gusts, but up and down the eastern seaboard, boy, they're going to get hit really hard with a lot of severe weather there. Temperatures up to 82 Saturday, but back down to 65 degrees as we head into Monday, with overnight lows back into the 40s and maybe some 30s again on the Nature Coast. All right, so here's a look at your 8-day forecast. Now, kindness day here at the station. It's beautiful. It's going to be kind, the weather will be. 76 degrees. Beautiful on Saturday. Those storms rocking and rolling on Sunday. That's checking your weather forecast. Now, here's a look at what's coming up tonight on News Nation.
Tonight, in the final debate of the year, the candidates have one last chance to make their case. Oh, and one more thing. SiriusXM's Megyn Kelly, News Nation's Elizabeth Vargas, and the Washington Free Beacon's Eliana Johnson. The News Nation Republican primary debate. Tonight, 8 Eastern on News Nation.
To find News Nation on your TV, go to joinnn.com.
And if you do not have News Nation, you can still watch tonight's debate on the CW Tampa Bay. Our coverage begins at 7:30.
Christmas morning can look different for kids everywhere. How you can help needy and foster children have happy holidays and see the surprise one little girl got all the way from the North Pole. Wake up with us tomorrow morning on News Channel 8 Today.
Well, this is quite the week for Buck safety Antoine Winfield Jr. On Tuesday, He was the Bucs finalist for the Walter Payton Man of the Year award. Today, Winfield was named the NFC's Defensive Player of the Week for his performance against the Carolina Panthers. A good sign for the Bucs inside linebackers. Levante David and Servassier Dennis listed as full participants in today's practice. Both players had to miss last Sunday's game, and it triggered a depth chart nightmare. Devin White, by the way, did not practice today. Well, quarterback Baker Mayfield looking forward to a little redo with the Atlanta Falcons this Sunday. Back in October, Mayfield led the Bucs to a final-minute game-tying drive, but it was a frustrating day overall. He threw an interception and was sacked 3 times.
Yeah, the first game was a little hard to watch film-wise, just going back through it and seeing the improvements that we've had. So, but they presented the different issues for us that we had to learn from. Some blitz package issues, and they held us, to a pretty low score. So, we've got to go in and improve.
Well, another Florida State player will not take part in the Orange Bowl. Wide receiver Johnny Wilson has opted out of the game in order to prepare for the Senior Bowl and the NFL Draft. Edge rusher Patrick Payton elected to enter the transfer portal yesterday. And for the second time in less than a week, the Lightning will host the Pittsburgh Penguins. The Pens won in Amalie Arena last Thursday 4-2. In a span of 8 days, the Bolts will have played the Pens and the Dallas Stars twice. So kind of a quirky scheduling there, but the Bolts want to get a little bit of revenge tonight on the Pens. Dan Lucas, 8 on your side.
All right, thank you, Dan. And a reminder, we're just moments away from an announcement from Tampa Police on the investigation into the shooting in Ybor City that took place back in October. We know the chief, the Tampa Police chief there, Lee Burkaw, will be there, along with State Attorney Susie Lopez, as will be the family of Harrison Boonstapple, one of the 2 victims killed.
Now, that conference is slated to start in just a few minutes at 6:30. We will stream it live on WFLA.com, and of course, we'll have the latest coming up on News Channel 8 at 7.
In the meantime, we encourage you to stay warm because, as our chief neurologist Jeff Baradelli says, it's going to get a little chilly tonight.
It's
so hang in there.
breezy and chilly, so thanks for joining us. Nightly news is coming up next.
And we'll see you back here tonight for News Channel 8 at 11. Good night.